Alright, so this is part 2 on how to decal Lego Clone Trooper. Last video, I almost forgot about a very important step that I tend to forget about almost every time, and it's a pain in the butt to do later in decaling a figure. So one of the most important steps to do before you start decaling is you have to shave a little bit in the arm socket and the hip area, so that the decal does not rub off when you move the joint. So it's a little bit looser, and you know allow the decals to not be ripped off. But what I do is I change the blade to this roundish one. It's easier to get around here. So I just kind of scrape a little bit off, do a couple spins. You can kind of see a little bit coming off. You don't want to do too much. So if you grab an arm, there's a little bit of movement, a little bit more, a little looser. I think I'll take off a little bit more, not too much, and then I'll do the other side. This next part is the hardest part, is doing the inside right here, this round part. Put it in here, and I just push lightly, trying to scrape some off. If you're wondering what I'm on, this is the top of the container that I store all my decal supplies in. And it's good for cutting out the decals with the knife, and as you can see, there's kind of scrapes everywhere. And that's from decaling and cutting them out. But you want to make sure you get both sides. So you put this leg on. There's a little bit of a gap, you can see. I might do a little bit more in the front. Take it off. Try this side. So the next step is cutting out the decals. You can either do this while you're applying them and cut them out in between while you're letting them dry, or you just do them all at once. I like to do them all at once just so you have them all done. You can apply whatever ones you want. But another thing I tend to forget is that you do not want to forget is to cut out the armholes and the leg holes. I tend, for some reason, always to forget those, and it's a lot harder if you cut it out from here and you're holding that little rectangle. It's a lot harder to cut out that circle unless you have like a hole puncher or something you're using, which I do not. I just cut them out with the X-Acto knife. So I tried to do those first because you got more to hold on to and it's a lot easier. But you want to cut between the design and that gray line, in that little white gap area. And I just press down and kind of move the decal where I need it to. Some people use scissors for decals. The reason I do not is because, especially with some of the helmet decals, like they might use hole punchers for the hole ones. I don't know how you would use scissors for those. But for the helmet decals, there's a lot of weird angles and small parts you gotta cut out. So like over here. Alright, so like this part, it'd be kind of tricky to do with scissors. This is probably not the best example, but like right here, all these little small shapes and angles, the arms, and especially these curved parts, like that's a really small area to cut out with scissors, so I prefer X-Acto knife. It's just a lot easier. But once you get all these holes, which do take a little while, then you just start cutting out. If you're just starting, I would recommend starting on these two decals. They're the most basic ones to put on, easiest ones. And then you just push down See, this one wouldn't be too hard to do with scissors, but I've just been using X-Acto knife for everything, so I just stick to it. You just cut it all out. Sometimes I don't cut all the way through the first time, so I go back and cut over it again. See, like right here, it's still stuck, so I need to cut. Oh, that's my cat messing with some stuff. So, yeah, there's a little bit connecting here. I don't know exactly where. I think I might have gotten it. Alright, there we go. So there's that. And then you can just cut out the next one. What I tend to do if I'm cutting them all out at once is I just start from one side and go all the way to the other. For decaling, I'll be decaling an ARC Trooper Jesse. That one will have some really tricky helmet decals because most of his helmet's blue. I haven't done a full helmet decal like that, so I might mess up, but that's alright. If I mess up, I can always get another decal set for that.